Okay, I guess I'm live. Well, we'll see. Look, I got notes. Several of you have asked why I am doing keto carnivore, um, how it came about. And so this is an answer to that question. Hey, Mad Dog. All right, so I'm going to read from a script because there's way too much to tell you otherwise. So, what started this journey? Uh, when I turned 50, I had exercised and starved myself to achieve a healthier me. I felt good, but never as good as I would have liked. Clothes fit better, sleep was good, energy was decent. And then 4 years later, menopause happened. I know, TMI, right? And uh, I shifted careers from a very active, on my feet all the time to sitting on my butt all the time. I became very sedentary. Uh, Now, I began to explore options, um, most of which required buying into some product, some gimmick, some video, some app, something that was going to take me out of my pocket. I talked with my doctor and checking lab markers, I was well on my way to being pre diabetic. Um, all of the garbage that thrives in that state, um, that brings you to pre-diabetes, there's just buckets of crap that come with that I didn't realize. Later on, I found out we're all tied together. Here's some of the things in my bucket: rosacea, which I don't have makeup on today, so you can see it looks like I'm sunburned. I'm not. That's rosacea. Skin tags, hair loss, dry skin, fatigue, poor sleeping patterns, weight gain, inflammation, allergies were getting worse, joint pains, foggy brain, insulin spikes and falls, reflux was getting worse. And I started to get stressed because I was worried about chronic illness because all these things were starting to make me feel like crap. I started taking more Motrin more often. I started taking Tylenol and Mucinex, because again, my allergies were getting worse, and the Mucinex was kind of relieving some of that. And I always felt hungry. Always felt hungry. I couldn't figure it out. Like my stomach would actually like grumble and carry on, and I'd get pains. Uh, my bowel habits were not great. They were very sporadic, very not predictable. Um, I had gas, I had bloating, blah, blah, blah. So there's that big bucket of all that crap that was filling up in there. So I set out to explore how to fix these things. At first, I addressed everything individually. I researched causes and solutions, and what I found was rather disheartening. There is a predatory business, an economic base in our country that feeds, or shall I say, is parasitic to people that feel like me. I sensed it and it caused me to be extremely skeptical. I didn't want to be a victim, and I became one anyways. I did because I fell for the gimmicks and the marketing. I fell for the crap that, this is how you're supposed to eat. This is what you should do. This is why you should do it. This is eat your greens, eat your vegetables, eat your fiber, eat your. Anyway, recognizing the fact that I was becoming a victim still didn't help me. And that all happened actually long before I was 50 years old, as far as recognizing that there was I don't even know what to call it, a semi culture of people that were out to, uh, what's the word? Use you, use you, make a profit off of your bad feelings out of how you felt. Anyway, I digress. I had taken nutritional facts, things that I had learned for years from the research I did with school and with culinary and all the different things I had learned with allergies and things when I worked at the daycare. And I had taken those facts as Bible. Like that they were, I found out that that's not the case. Those facts that I had taken as biblical were based on foundations as shaky as the San Andreas Fault. Over the years, I have spent thousands, and I do mean thousands. I started adding this crap up. I spent thousands of money and dollars on powders, videos, apps, medicines, books, food supplements, products that said they were low fat, low sugar, non dairy, high fiber. Come on, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I continued to return to the fundamental basics that food, whole food, unadulterated food, has got to be the most efficient way to give our bodies what it needs. I experimented I experimented with eliminating certain foods. I just started saying, let's see what's going to happen here. What's going to make me feel better? My best results overall each time I tried these eliminations was when I cut out table sugar. But I was still consuming carbs, and so cutting out sugar wasn't enough. I still didn't feel good. The good feeling didn't last. Fast forward years and years, here we go, up to just a few months ago, December, January of this year, past year. I was given a link to Dr. Ken Berry by some of my family members. He does videos about Keto 101. It's an eating style. No special products, no books, no supplements were required. In fact, he boasted that this style was going to reverse type 2 diabetes. That caught my attention. So I began to research info he was pouring out, and my brain was absorbing it like a sponge. Number one was insulin resistance. Number two, hidden sugars in almost everything, including medications, cigarettes, and other healthy food choices. Number three, metabolic diseases. Number four, the studies, facts, and research that prove we were lied to, deceived, by the push to encourage low fat, high fiber diets. Sorry. And I found out how much of our current economic base, our medical treatments, are based on this shoddy, observational, non factual information. I can't begin to cite everything I've learned. A good resource, if you're interested, is an author named Gary Taubes, Taubes. He wrote a book called Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It. I listened to it in audio version. I think it took like 8 hours. Oh my gosh, I learned so much stuff. I began taking notes listening to Gary's book, and I started connecting the dots with things that he was saying and that Dr. Barry was reiterating and going down the rabbit holes that all these people were taking us. All of my issues that I've been trying to solve individually turned out to be very much connected. I can't look at that. This was my magic pill. This was my magic pill. I needed to know this. I needed to know that all this crap that was happening to me was not a bunch of little things and my body just falling apart. It was all connected. And if I started to figure out the connections, that I could start reversing some of this. I'm still learning. I'm still soaking up info like a sponge. I'm tweaking and fine tuning as I go along. I don't have all the answers, and everybody's different. So let's see. This is not going to be mainstream information for a very long time. The things that I learned um, are not going to come to the surface and become uh, they're not going to become the norms. There's too much industry and money tied up in the lies we've been told. So I'm just a small little cog trying to keep the info moving. I know my journey is not the same as yours. My needs are not the same. What works for me may not work for you. It is a process I am willing to share with you. Take what you need and leave the rest. I will give you resources, I will share info, and I will go over my personal results and things that I have tried that worked or didn't work. However, I will not preach to you. And if I do preach to you, you had best call me out, because if you don't, you are not my friend. I don't want to become the carnivore police. However, I do encourage you, do your own research. And keep in mind that these creators have sponsors that pay them to create their content. Always keep that in mind. What does this say? Even though you left, I don't know what that says. I'll have to read it later. So, even though I follow all these people, I'm still skeptical. Gary Taubes, Ken D. Berry, Nisha is Dr. Berry's wife, Anthony Chaffee, Chaffee, Eric Berg, Berg, and Health Coach Kate, Kait. They are all great resources. All right, you guys, thanks. How do you end this thing now? I don't know. Oh, good gosh, who knows? How do you end it? Ah, I don't know. Okay, well, I guess we're just gonna keep going endlessly. Let's see here. I lost 50 pounds. I was started eating carbs to get back to proof what's crapping. All right, well, okay. I guess you guys just sit here and just look at me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, let's see, what would be another option for ending this damn thing? Live? How about this? Are you sure you want to